All right, my name is Howard Smith. I've been in karate about 52 years. And I started back in 1969. I was looking for a place and I heard about this karate school in Kingsport, Tennessee. So I drove to Kingsport looking for it and I found it. It was upstairs in a building that there was nothing else in, old building, and they had it on the second story. And I went in and I've been with it ever since.
And how many students you have now?
I'm not really sure. Somewhere between 60 and 100. You have a slight turnover. You have some people that stay with you because I've had students stay with me for 30, 40 years. And then you also have a big turnover. People will take for a while and then they'll be out for one reason or the other.
Well, we know we have a lot of trouble in business since the virus situation started, this COVID-19. So how does the COVID-19 affect your business?
Well, around March of last year, when this whole thing started, we had a few classes the 1st of March, and then we were closed down. And I just kind of was wondering, okay, what are we going to do now? How long is it going to be closed, and so forth. So I started talking to people, and they said, why don't you do Zoom? So I got it set up. So the last part of March, nothing was going on. Started Zoom in April. And all the students got on Zoom.
So when I think of karate, I think of something that needs to be presential. You have to have a partner to practice karate. How does the Zoom classes work?
Well, it was kind of difficult at first, but you do things with partners, but there's so much of it that you can train on your own, because even in the class, you're not always partnered up. You're working the basics, you're working movements, what we call kata. And since we were doing the social distancing, we would, this is after the class started in April, there were no one in here, but some of the students, have families, they're able to work with each other, but mostly I just taught for individual training. The katas, the movement, the basics, and so forth. Just the part of the self-defense, which you work when you work with a partner, could not do.
So now you have just Zoom classes, or you have students in the dojo?
Okay, I have students in the dojo again. Most of the students are coming back in the dojo. There are still a few students on Zoom, so what we do, I set the computer up at the back of the class, and it's just as though they're in the class following along. And it's working pretty well. I even have students I had one person move off to California, and another one of my black belts is over in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they're able to do the classes because they come to the Zoom class and follow along.
And what's the hardest thing of dealing with Zoom classes? Do they complain the students are doing, they adapt it very well, or they still prefer to be here?
They would like to be here, they'd rather be here, but they are adapting and it's working well. I had a couple of students said they'll try to come back later when they can come into the dojo. So they're not comfortable coming back yet, and Zoom is real difficult, especially younger kids, to keep them interested. And when a really young kid is doing Zoom, the parents also have to be there because they have to keep them engaged because they're at home, and they have to keep them engaged and to kind of help them pay attention to what's going on.
I can understand the Zoom classes being a way of keeping the students active, but the students you already had. But are you also open for new students through Zoom?
I am, but of course lately students are coming in and signing up. No one has requested Zoom, but I am open to starting them. It would be difficult. What I would do, if I had a new student starting Zoom, I would set them up a time and I'd work with them one-on-one through Zoom to get the basics down so they can kind of work them into the class, and then they'd be able to follow along. But it would be a little difficult in the beginning if I didn't work with them one-on-one. That's my plan.
And finally, we have the vaccines. Now we have 3 options of the vaccine, and we expect things to get back to normal. Are you planning to keep the Zoom classes active after the virus situation is under control?
Well, I am. I've had requests to do that because, like I said, 2 of my students have moved off and they want to continue doing it. So the Zoom will be there for those 2 and anyone else. And what I found is sometimes some of my students, especially doctors, I have about 8 or 9 doctors in my class. If they've been around anyone at the hospital with COVID or the COVID cases have gone up, they tend to go stay home and do the Zoom for a couple of weeks just to make sure they don't bring anything into the class. And that's working really well. That really helps them stay engaged. And they said they really appreciate, being able to do that so they can stay engaged in the class and stay interested in training.
Well, it's been 1 year that we made a short film about how karate can help, or martial arts in general, can help you develop self-esteem, especially for kids who are facing bullying at school, and that was the focus on the film. But I would like you to talk a little bit about what are the general benefits of karate, because a lot of people has the wrong impression that karate is aggressive. But what are the benefits of karate and what they need to do to join your classes?
Okay, the benefits of karate, of course, the obvious benefit is self-defense. You learn techniques to defend yourself in many different situations, and you condition your body to be strong and healthy. But the other benefits are something that you would use every day, and that's not the punches or kicks, we hope. Every day you use the self-discipline of going after something that's difficult, accomplishing the task, learning new movements, being confident as your abilities and your skill goes up. Perseverance, that keep trying, working hard, you will get there in whatever you're doing. And just overall confidence in anything else. It carries over in everyday life. It carries over at school for the kids. When they feel good about themselves, good about their body, being in shape. It's really good for the kids and adults.
Thank you for having us here, Folks and Facts
Thank you.
magazine, and I hope I can come here more often.
Well, I hope I can get you in class.
Maybe I'm too old for that.
No.